Hello everyone, Pretty Pegasus Wings here, and I know I've been a bit slow with releasing the monthly reviews, but things have kind of been a bit crazy, as you can probably tell. I know a lot of people have been going into quarantine and staying home a lot, and yeah, you'd think that'd give you more time, but more people home means lots of noise. Ooh. But I've been working on it. I promise it'll be out soon, hopefully. But in the meantime, I thought it'd be fun to do a little bit of an unscripted video going over some long-form audio dramas to check out. Because, well, everyone's kind of going to be home for a while, and you might get a little bored. And you might want to fill that boredom with some audio dramas. I think that'd be cool. Obviously, MLP is what I'm familiar with. But I could recommend other audio dramas in the future if anyone's actually interested in that. I don't know. I could do more research. I've been wanting to look past MLP. I just been also, part of the reason I have is because I've been working on a bigger project, and it's gonna take a while for that to come out. But because of that, I have seen a lot of audio dramas. There's at least about 180 MLP audio dramas you can listen to right now, or at least anything that falls under my definition of what an audio drama is. I know for a lot of people that's different, and for some of you, these may not be what you're looking for in audio dramas, but I ask that you keep an open mind. I'm trying to keep this list to long series, like things that are more than just a couple episodes, and those episodes are usually not just like 5-minute short things, and something you'd want to listen to for hours and hours. And you won't be lacking for things to listen to and enjoy while you're sitting at home and maybe working on things, and yeah, you have something fun to listen to while you do it. And I'm also looking at stuff that's under the radar, so no Pinky Tales, no, There's No Place Like Home. As much as people love those series, and I definitely love There's No Place Like Home, it's a great series, you've probably already listened to it. Why am I going to bother recommending something if you've already listened to it? So yeah, bit of a unscripted video. Let's see how this goes. I'll have them all linked in the description. As always, they're all great series in some regards, some good, some are better than others, and some even have some flaws, but I ask that you please look past those flaws because the writing makes it worth it, and it's clear there's lots of effort being put in these things, and you should just check it out. So let's start with a little bit of Doctor Who's. Now, you've probably seen the stuff from Squeak Anon and Ponies with Pockets Productions, and they're great too, and I love their stuff, especially Squeak Anon. They have so much great stuff on their channel. You probably haven't seen all that, so you could probably consider that a recommendation too, but we're looking at things that are a bit more under the radar. So Doctor Who's a little bit of the country is a bit odd. It's definitely going to be the oddest one on the list. It's not going to be for everyone, but if you could just give it a chance, I'd really appreciate it because it's also a good series. It's really, really well written in my opinion. It's very engaging, and it's different from other Doctor Who's audio dramas because Applejack is the companion. And normally it's like Fluttershy, Twilight, Lyra, the background character, and you get the idea. This is actually Applejack. You wouldn't think she'd make a great companion, but it works here, and I really enjoyed it. Another thing that people will be thrown off about, there are no sound effects, and it's all voiced by one guy. Yes, even the girls. And the voices do blend, but the writing is really good, and because of that, I recommend it because it is actually really engaging. It's a great story. Everything progressed well. It feels like a Doctor Who story, and it does weird things too. Like, they actually go to the human world, believe it or not. Not Equestria girls, the human world. And you'd think, oh, that's really weird. Yeah, it is weird, but it works. It's weird. There's so many weird things in this thing. There's so many things that happen you think they wouldn't work, but they work, and that's part of the reason I love it so much. The guy who does the one voice and all that, he makes it work. It just works. It's weird, and I love that. I love how different it is, and I think this is a great listen for all those Doctor Who sci-fi fans. I think you'll really enjoy this if you can look past those things most people probably can't look past, and I understand that. So why don't we take a look at something that's a bit more complete and maybe professional. East Course has a lot of great Fallout Equestria stuff, and by that I mean they do Confessions of a Wasteland Pony, which are hours long, so there's no way you're going to be done with this in a day unless you're like blitz right through it and you just sit there for hours and hours listening to this, which I don't recommend. This is something you want to take in like bits and pieces. There's also Terminal Secrets, which is also a great series, and the Fallout Equestria Survival Guide, which I think is an adaptation of the Fallout Equestria Survival Guide. Now, these are all based on the fanfiction, of course, so if you have some knowledge, like the whole bomb dropping, zebra war, yada yada yada, if you have that, you should be fine. It doesn't require extra knowledge as far as I'm aware. And the survival guide will help you get caught up with that if you need that extra refresher or what's going on in Fallout and you just want to check out these series, which I highly recommend. They're all great, and I'd highly recommend listening to all of them because they are connected. So you listen to one, and then you listen to another, like, oh, I see the connection. That's really cool, and it is really, really cool. I started with Terminal Secrets, but I would recommend starting with Confessions because I feel like they'll make a better gateway into Terminal Secrets, and you'll see why when you actually listen to it. I know it's long, but it's worth it. Confessions is about talking to ponies in the Wasteland, their stories, trying to maybe spread some positivity in this Fallout world with the nukes and all that. And it's really awesome to see all these characters. There's this doctor who's a glowing ghoul, just filled with radiation. And he's just really cool. I just love him. He's a lot of fun. I love his accent. I love his character. I love his story. It's really, really fun. I think my favorite has to be the Mercenary Dragon one. Now that was a good one. I love the beginning. I love how it progressed. It was very fun. There's also like the Ice Mare, and I don't want to spoil the Ice Mare. There's some really good twists and turns in all of these. It's really just, I don't know how much I can really talk about without spoiling things. What's fun about it is that the characters do keep coming back, and that's one of the most fun and rewarding parts about listening to the series, is seeing how it all comes together and this kind of like small community they start making with this little radio series. Triple Secrets looks into, how like there's the vaults, and the vaults have experiments. Well, they're the people who look in on those experiments and take notes and all that fun stuff. It's not a fun job. It's really not, because if you don't do your job, you're pretty much dead. So you kind of have to do your job, even though your job is really, really horrible. And it kind of looks into what that's like working in that kind of environment and how it affects character, but then of course builds from there. You see these character stories and the lives, but then there's also like this plot with her, the main character. I think her name was Butterfly Stitch, or I think that's what it is. I can't remember. It's been a while. But I do remember Butterfly. I loved her, though. She was great. I loved the whole cast. The whole cast does great, especially the computer. I love how the computer develops over time, and you'll see why. That just that ending. Oh, God, that ending. Oh, man, that's so satisfying. It was satisfying, and it was sad, and it hurt. I had so much hurt. Oh, my God, but it was so worth it. It was absolutely worth every second. Not to mention the phrase "kill the world." Just that cemented it for me as being a favorite, absolute favorite. And I've never read Fallout Equestria. I haven't even played a Fallout game, which I want to, and I will do so when I get the chance, and I probably will if this keeps going on for a while with the whole quarantine. Either way, just check out the channel. There's more on there. There's more audio dramas. I haven't checked them out yet. I really should, because if I love those two, well, those three, if I love all of them, I'm probably gonna love those two. They even have podcasts. It's like, there's a lot of stuff they do on this channel. You should really check it out. It's good stuff. To keep the Fallout Equestria train rolling, let's talk about Fallout Equestria Dead Road. This one has about one chapter right now, but they're working on a second one. As far as I'm aware, I don't know if they're sticking to it, if anything happened. I don't think there's really been an update last I checked. So you'll have to just kind of see where it's at when you get there. I thought it was a good series that does have its problems. There was some voice acting that I thought was just kind of, it wasn't really doing it for me. And then there was like this presentation I didn't think was the absolute best, but I think for what it is, it does a great job. I love the story. I love the characters. The romance is just, heartbreaking. I don't want to spoil why. It's really good. I enjoyed it. It looks into the life of this one guy who was born to the leader of these raiders. I believe that was what it was. Again, it's been a while, but I do remember it was raiders. They were raiders. And he's obviously not like the other raiders, because, that's just how these stories go. He takes in a slave, and I put that in quotes, because it's just him rescuing a guy by taking him in as a slave, but he didn't exactly say you have to be my slave, and he definitely doesn't treat him like one. The guy just kind of decided to stay with him because he just appreciated him trying to help him in these awful, awful times. And that's just really sweet, just very sweet. There's also this ghoul they have to speak with to get these guns and all that for this mission they're going to go on. There's this like little filly they need to save. It's just a really good time, and I just really do recommend it. It's a good story. I like it, and I hope Chapter 2 comes out at all. Just anything about Chapter 2. I'm really curious. It doesn't exactly end on a cliffhanger, But I believe even if they didn't release a chapter 2, I think for what it is, it's really good. Next is KPNY. Now this is definitely a strange one. As you can tell, I have a theming of strange stuff in here. But it's a good one. It's old. You can tell it's old because they talk about fanfictions, music, and art, and it's very clearly from a while ago. So if you're interested in that sort of kind of talk show thing, but it has a story behind it, and you want to hear them talking about fanfiction, music, which you can also check out after the series is done, and the series is many, many episodes, this is a good place to look, and I really, really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the characters, I enjoyed the story, it all just works really well, and it flows, and its pacing is so perfect. It's unbelievable how well structured this whole thing is, and how much it really feels like a radio show. Everyone does a great job. It feels very authentic. It feels really good to listen to, and I think if you give it a chance, you will enjoy it. It's a good time. I don't really want to spoil anything, but I will give you a general idea what it's about. Basically, it's what happened if ponies discovered bronies. Again, I know it's weird, and it really shouldn't work, but it works. I don't know why it works, but it just does. I think it's just the way they presented it just really works. So basically this radio station's mission is to just introduce ponies to bronies, their fan works, and trying to understand why bronies are so into them. It's kind of a weird show. There's controversies popping up oh, who are these humans and they're spying on us, and there's aliens, are they even real? Is this all just an elaborate ruse? Oh, they're just trying to pull our chain, it's all. Or are they dangerous? Oh, are they dangerous? All those things you'd expect from something like this, where it's oh, alien invasion, no. What are these humans you speak of? Yeah, again, it's a little weird. It's a little weird, but they just play it so straight, so well. You don't even think about how weird it is. It's really well done. They did end on a kind of cliffhanger, the storyline for that section was finished up, and it ended on oh, this is going to continue from here, but they never did. The whole thing just shut down. They never finished it, and it's really, really sad. I miss the series. I wanted to see what was going to happen next. I wanted to follow these characters, but it ended in a way that was pretty satisfying, and I think you'll enjoy it. Again, another odd suggestion, because this isn't exactly an audio drama series. These are audio drama specials. I count it because they are technically audio dramas. You don't need to listen to the original series. It's connected to the series, but you don't need to see it to enjoy these, so I count it. But there's a reason I count it, because it's also just really, really funny. And as the name implies, friendship is for adults. Yeah, these are not for younger audiences. Lots of, definitely have swearing, there's mature stuff. I wouldn't say it's sexual or anything at all. It's mostly just the swearing, there's violence, but it's really funny. I think I haven't seen the abridged series. I should probably see the abridged series. I'd probably love it because I love these specials. They're funny. They have great characters. It's well written and so well produced. You wouldn't even think these people did a abridged series because it just feels so natural to the audio drama format. You don't need to see the original series. Like I said, everything is pretty well conveyed. It doesn't expect you to have much knowledge. In fact, some of the specials have to explain a few things, which is nice. Very, very nice. It's also funny because it's about Twilight, who's trying to take over Equestria, I guess. Or really take down her mentor because she's evil, I guess. I think that's pretty much sums it up. And Celestia's kind of like this mom who feels bad that their child went wayward, and I guess she feels like it's her fault or something. She's trying to fix Twilight by sending her to Ponyville with her round table, which is the other main six, which Twilight has no idea any of this is going on. She thinks these ponies are trying to help her take down Celestia. That's pretty much all you need to know. And from there, the Christmas special is basically Twilight trying to ruin Christmas. And then there's, she's trying to steal Christmas, like the Grinch. It doesn't go exactly like she planned. There's also the Halloween specials. I love how creative these things are. The first one is them going to haunted house, and there's tons of movie references and how this plan just goes all wrong. It's so funny how wrong it goes. It's great for any horror fans out there. I kind of recognized a few things, mostly Adventures of Grim and Mandy and stuff like that, which isn't super deep lore horror. I'm not into horror that much. So, baseline horror. There's also the backstory for this series. That's a special. There's also a second Halloween special, which of course references events from the first one, because it's kind of continuing story, believe it or not. Who thought special ed of a continuing story like this? It's really a good time. It's hilarious, like I said. Probably the funniest audio drama series out there. Go check it out. It's really, really good. And then check out the abridged series while you're at it. It's probably just as good. And that's extra stuff to watch. Who doesn't love that? Now this next one is an unfinished adaptation of a very long fanfiction. It's Reharmonized Ponies, and on the same channel as a fanfiction reading of the thing that comes before this one. I would recommend listening to it. It is also interesting. I would say it's as good as Reharmonized Ponies, but it does give you an idea of what's going on and maybe get more out of it than you would have just listened to Reharmonized Ponies. But basically the idea is that this is kind of a universe where Discord is free and evil and was just never reformed, so you just get this like really evil Discord, and it's really, really fun. I love this idea. I've always loved the idea of Discord just being the most evil. I feel like if people really went hard with it, it could lead to one of the most disturbing and even just horrifying villains in the MLP franchise, more than any villain that you could imagine, except for maybe Grogar. But the way Discord just plays and twists with people and all the things that he can do with his reality bending, it would be pretty horrifying if he went full evil and he wasn't nearly as silly as he was portrayed in the show. I think there's a lot you can do with that idea, and Reharmonized Ponies shows just how bad it can get. The way he warps with their minds and the after effects of everything that happened in the season opener, I think it's called is it the Return of Harmony? I think it's the Return of Harmony. It's been a while since I've seen the opener and season 2 in general. I should probably watch that again sometime, and that would be probably a good time to do it. But anyways, that just shows the mental impact of what happened after and how this whole discorded thing affected the main 6, and also Trixie, believe it or not. There's this whole interesting thing about it. See, because it's unfinished, it's not fully explored in the audio, but there's just this huge fanfiction thing going on, and I don't know if I really want to check it out at the moment. It's a lot, even for now. It just expands so much from what I understand. I don't even know where to begin. But I also am curious to see what happened, considering what happened at the end. But the thing with Trixie is really what you're there for. Not just also how the 6 handle their things. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on there. But I really, really love what they did with Trixie. It's a great idea what they did with her. I don't want to talk too much because the fun of it is just seeing what happened to Trixie. And now you want to know, because it's just like, oh, what did you do to Trixie? Why is Trixie involved? Why is she important? She is important. It's really fascinating. If you like Psychonauts, then you'll probably like this a lot, because there is a Psychonauts type thing that happens at the end of this. I think you'll really, really love it. It's my favorite part of this. It probably contains some of my favorite moments in audio drama adaptations. It's fantastic in my mind. But of course you have to get through a lot of not so great parts, but that's fine. It didn't last too long. It's not that big of a deal. I thought they did a good job for what they had, and I think it's awesome that they tried to attempt to adapt this monster fully. I think, despite what the guy said, the guy who runs this project, I think it's pretty much dead in the water at this point. I think it would have been awesome if they were able to continue this project and adapt the whole thing, which is, again, a monster from what I understand. But either way, I think you should check it out. I think it's really awesome. And then you got this whole fanfiction series. Now, there is another audio drama type thing that was made in relation to the story. I think it may have been the author who made this. It's called Neon Stream BD, which in parentheses before death, Coffee Swirl Joined Your Party. This is a one-off type thing, though it's related to a larger story, so if you want to check that out too, you totally can, but you want to watch Reharmonized first. Unlike me, I should have watched that first before this, because I was a little confused as to what in the world the things that were happening, and now that I know what's kind of going on, it makes total sense now. So if you want to check those 2 things out, the links are in the description, and again, since this is a fanfiction adaptation, you got a whole fanfiction series once you're done. If you're really, really interested, and you have the time on your hands, that's a good thing to check out. Next, I have Historical Equestria. It's an oldie, you can tell, because a lot of this headcanoning is so outdated now. The canon contradicts a lot of what we see here, but it's still a good time. I love the presentation. You're like a pony doing research, and you go talk to the librarian. She just kind of gives you a history lesson. Really fun stuff like that. There are only 2 parts of this series, unfortunately. I say unfortunately because there's some pretty cool plans, like the Changeling stories, and sound like a lot of good stuff was coming in. It just kind of stopped. It's just really unfortunate. I thought these headcanons were really cool. Even though they're outdated, they're still good headcanons, and it kind of gives you an idea of what people were thinking in the earlier seasons of the show for anyone who is not around or active in the beginning of the fandom. The first series is pretty much the history of Equestria, with, the beginning for Luna and Celestia, and, Nightmare Moon thing. After that, it's pretty much the history of the zebras, which is really the best part of the series, in my opinion. It's really interesting to see the zebras being exiled from the land and seeing how they overcome it and how they eventually just built up the culture that they have today in this person's headcanon. Really fascinating stuff. I love it. You should absolutely check it out. It's a good series. If you don't like this one too much or are looking for more headcanon stuff, Inkros also had a headcanon series. It did stop halfway through Coloratura's backstory and this whole siren theory with her, which I think is pretty popular from what I've seen. It's an interesting idea. So if you want to see that, you can go check it out, but I do highly prefer historical Equestria. I think it's just better. I love the headcanons, I love the presentation. It's just, to me, that much better. You should check it out. And then this off, we're going to look at a fanfiction adaptation called Harbinger. Basically, it's kind of like a zombie invasion type thing. I didn't read the fanfiction, I just only saw these 5 episodes. I just don't have much time to read fanfiction, which is kind of sad. And I really would like to see where this goes, but it definitely has a zombie feeling. It has these ponies who act kind of like zombies, but they're kind of like super zombies. They're probably a bit more dangerous than normal zombies. And basically, it's not necessarily an infection like a virus, it's these weird floating balls that infect you when you're super weak or dead. It's kind of scary stuff. And not scary, it's oh, it's gonna freak you out, because it's just kind of the idea is kind of ooh, that's kind of awful. Ponies are told to break up into groups containing a Pegasi, a unicorn, and a earth pony. I don't exactly know why. A lot of the story does have a lot of end-of-the-world apocalypse, zombie attack type feelings from people trying to raid others, from people just trying to survive and get from place to place and just trying to figure out what's going on and surviving. And also having teammates turn or die or something. It does get really emotional. I can't say it's perfect. There's definitely some things in the production that aren't super high quality. Sometimes the voice actors don't bring it. I think sound usage could be a bit better, but the writing is just so good. You gotta just check it out. I think it does a really good job for what it is, and if you like this series, you should just read the fanfiction. It's right there. The series should just kind of act as kind of like a gateway into it. See if you like it. Test the waters. I recommend it. And that's pretty much it for my list. There's obviously more I could recommend, but I just want to kind of keep it to the long-form series for now. I do plan to make a video that will cover every single audio drama ever made in this community that you can watch. Unfortunately, a lot of those that I looked at for this have been deleted. I can't say they were intentionally deleted. The reason I say this is because I know some of these channels haven't been active in years, so it seems kind of odd that the videos would just suddenly go poof. So hopefully I'll release that video soon and get this project done, so hopefully you can see these before they get deleted and lost forever, because not every series is fortunate enough to have blind reactions to preserve it. Funny enough, blind reactions do work as a great way to preserve videos. Kind of funny how that works. So I hope you enjoyed these recommendations. I hope this video wasn't too rambly and off-scripty for you. I just don't feel like putting in that much effort at the moment. I got all these other things to edit. Oh my gosh, so much editing, but it is going to be worth it because these next couple months of audio dramas have been looking pretty good. There's been some good stuff coming on, and I can't wait to share all these awesome projects and things people are working on, and I hope you're just as excited as I am. So, see you then!